into answering this question over here. I'm going to read through it a bit slowly because we do need to understand the context here before we start answering the question. All right, it says here, Tibaka wants to deposit a sum of money. We don't know what that sum of money is. So we already know that we don't know what P is. We don't know what P is. So the thing we're actually calculating for is not A. We're going to be calculating P in this question. It says he wants to deposit the sum of money into the savings account that he will have accumulated 25,000 Rand. What does this make this 25,000 Rand over here? Hello, Moiketsi. This 25,000 Rand then becomes our A value. That is our A value. Good. And so that's it. For a holiday in New York in 3 years' time. That means our N. How much should he deposit now if interest is paid on savings at 9% per annum compounded quarterly? We have our interest rate. Interest rate is 9%. And compounded quarterly means that M is equal to 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to substitute and we're going to solve for P in this particular case. So I know that A is 25,000. So I'm going to 25,000 equal to P, open brackets, 1 plus 9%, or you can write 0.09, 0.09 over 4, close brackets, to the power of 3 times 4. And now that I want P on its own, I'm going to divide both sides by 1 plus 0.09 over 4, the power of 4, and I'm going to do the same. 1 plus 0.09. Who can give me an answer for P, guys? P is equal to, Offense is saying, why is M equal to 4? Because it's compounded quarterly. And when it's compounded quarterly, M is equal to 4. All right, anybody got an answer for me? Okay, beautiful. Funzo, and you just got here. You just got here. So I'm very, very impressed. Good. That's it. That's the answer we're looking for. 19,141,6. That's the answer. All right, with that, all right, let's start with this question. Oh, I'm already dreading this question because of that last one, but thanks, teacher Nelson, sending the answer. It makes so much sense. Oh, I'm just quiet, Hope, because we're doing question 7.1. Sorry, we're doing question 7.1. Sorry, I completely forgot to mention that. I don't know what's going on with me. I'm spacing out. I'm sorry. We're doing question 7.1, everyone. Okay. Pop your favorite emoji in the chat when you're ready. 1 more minute, guys. Now, how are we traumatized? We are only doing question 7.1. It's not even that deep. It is not that deep at all, guys. Let's have a look at the question. All right, guys, let's have a look at this question because I'm gonna guarantee you, Noah, it's not as complicated as we think. All right, so it says here, Zach looks up the exchange rate. Oh, sorry, Zach likes to travel. He has saved 5,000 Rand as a spending money for his vacation in Australia at the end of 2015. Zach looks up the exchange rate on the internet. Using the information in the table below, calculate how many Australian dollars Zach can buy for 5,000 Rand. Okay, so remember, we need to set up a ratio of Australian dollars to South African rands, right? So we know we're going to have Australian dollars, something. So for every 1 Australian dollar, how many South African rands do I have, guys? How much does 1 Australian dollar cost us, according to the table? Anybody? Somebody? Look at the question, peeps. Thank you, Kanye. So that's it. We're looking at the Australian dollar, right? And we want to use the rand equivalent of 1 currency. So for 1 Australian dollar, we will get 9.52. I'm going to round it off. 9.52 rand, right? No worries, Pascal. Welcome. All right. So we now know that we have 5,000. We have 5,000 South African rands. If I want to find out the ratio over here, if I'm going up, what do I need to do, guys? How do we figure out that ratio? Correct, correct. So we're going to divide up, Nyasha, we're going up. So we're going to divide. So 5,000 times, oh, no, I'm saying times. 5,000 divided by, Wait. Woo, it must be me on holiday. My brain is not doing the thing. Okay. All right, peeps. So if we divide 5,000 by 9.52, we're going to get 525.21. Correct, Amber, that's it. So we know that for 5,000 South African rands, we can get 525 Australian dollars and 21 cents. 525.2. Right. Give me a thumbs up if we're able to answer this question. It's not a difficult one at all. Excellent. Kunzo, you're gonna have to come back. I don't know what to tell you. You can't go on holiday the whole time. Your brain not coming. Okay, excellent. I want you guys to try 7.2. Bear in mind, we've just figured out how tricky 7.2.2 is. So we're going to walk through it slowly. Okay, we should at least be able to do question 7.2.1. Pablo, what answer does your calculator give you? And I'm not 100% sure how it could possibly give a different answer. No. Okay. Okay, Pascal. If we look at this question, right? Whenever we're comparing two things, it's basically a proportion. So what we need to do is we need to create a ratio. Okay. So we're going to say for every, let's say, for instance, we use the US dollar. We can say for every $1, we get 12.03 rands. If you want to buy $1, you're going to have to spend 12 rand and 3 cents. Oh, for 7.21. Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so let's read the question really quickly. It says here, Zach plans another trip to Australia at the end of 2018. Now remember, there's currently 2015. There's currently 2015. So he's planning a different trip in 2018. There's currently 20. Question says, assume that the average annual rate of inflation in South Africa will be 6% per year over the next 3 years. In 2018, what amount of money will be equivalent to the value of 5,000? Okay, we know inflation is always calculated over what kind of interest, guys? What kind of interest do we calculate? Do we use to calculate for inflation? Correct, Nyasha, beautiful. Yes, that's it, Nico. We use compound. We use compound interest. All right, Tabo. Okay, so we're going to use the exact compound interest formula that we're used to, and we're going to. Okay, remember to pop your favorite emoji in the chat when you're done. Okay, this particular question shouldn't be too difficult. We're still warming up, guys. Still warming up. I'm sorry, Hope. I'm sorry. It's been a day. Okay, it's been a day. Don't judge. Don't be judgy. All right, Kunzo's all done. If you're done with that question, have a look at the next one. It's quite tricky, so you're going to have to really read through it. All right, peeps, let's discuss this particular one. All right. Okay, so it says here. Assuming that the annual average inflation rate in South Africa is 6.1%. So we're going to calculate this over compound interest, 5,000 open brackets, 1 plus 6.1%, or you could have written 0,061, right? 0,061, or to the power of 3, because it's in the next 3 years. And what answer do we get, peeps? Answer do we get there? Beautiful, Pascal. Good. 5971.95. Good. That's it. All right. So that was easy enough. Now, let us talk about question 7.2.2, right? Because it's a bit tricky and we want to make sure we're getting it. All right. So it says here, Zach plans to invest equal amounts into a savings account on the 1st of December 2016 and on the 1st of December 2017. Now, before we continue, let's just think about this. How many payments is Zach going to make? Let's start there. How many payments is Zach going to make? Correct, Nico. Good. Zach is going to make 2 payments, and they're going to be a year apart. He's going to make 2 payments. Do you know how much each of these payments is for? Do you know how much? Does it say? No, not at all. It doesn't tell us how much it is. And whenever we don't know what something is going to be, we're going to label this thing X. Let's label it X because we don't know what X is at the moment. It says here, he's going to deposit in 2016 and in 2017 to have accumulated an amount of 5,980 by the 1st of December 2018. So we're moving from 2016 to 2018. That is 2 years. So our N in this instance is going to be 2 years. But because each year something different is happening, the N for the first payment is going to be 1. And the N for the second payment is also going to be 1. Give me a thumbs up if what I'm saying makes sense. Give me a thumbs up if you guys are with me. Okay, payment 1, our N is going to be for 1 year. And then for payment 2, our N is still going to be 1 year because we are working from 2016 to 2017 and then from 2017 to 2018. Right, so we actually have 2 years, but each of them will get their own. Now, together, all of this, all of the calculations we're about to do need to come up to 5,980. So I know that they say that this thing is compounded annually. So I know I'm going to use the compound interest formula. A is equal to P times 1 plus I, the power of N, right? So let's start with year 1. Remember, we're going to put all of these things together, right? Year 1, we're going to go A is equal to, we don't know what P is. So we're going to call our first payment X. X, open brackets, 1 plus, our interest rate is 9%. So 0,09, all of this, the power of 1, because it's for 1 year. All right, this is payment 1. For payment 2, we're going to get the exact same formula. A is equal to X, right? 1 plus 0,09 to the power of 1. All right, but all of this together, both of these added together need to equal, how much do they need to equal to? What does the answer say? Correct. That's it, Funzo and Nico. Good. It says all of it together must equal 5,980. So we're going to set up an equation where these two payments together give us 5,980. So we're going to go x, open brackets, 1 plus 0,09 of 1 plus another x, open bracket, 1 plus 0,09 of 1. All of this together is going to equal 5,980. Okay, but I think I've forgotten something here. It's not simple interest, it's interest. So what have I forgotten? Okay. This is what we forgot. Okay. Because the thing is compound interest, guys, one of these calculations is going to earn interest on interest. Interest on interest. One of them needs to have interest on top of the other, right? So this one is not actually going to be the power of 1. It's going to have to be to the power of 2 because the interest is twice as much for the second calculation. Give me a thumbs up if I'm making sense. Remember when we use compound interest, there's always interest on top of interest. So the first calculation is going to be just interest one time. But the second year, we're going to have interest on top of it. Okay. Where have I lost? Okay. I'm quickly going to continue, and then if you're still stuck, I'm going to come back and we can finish up. Okay, why are we putting 2? All right, Moketsi, think about it. If I had 1,000 rand, right, and I wanted to compound that money, if I want the money to earn compound interest, I'm going to go 1 plus my interest rate to the power of 1. That's year 1. In year 2, if I wanted to do it for more than 1 year, this needs to be for 2 years. It's going to be in there for 2 years. And if I want to do it for 3 years, it's going to be in there for 3 years. Now, this amount over here, remember, we don't know what the amount is. Whatever that amount was, it was in there for 2 years, not just 1 year. Even though we add a second payment, that first payment was already in there for 2 years. Are you understanding what I'm saying? So because in year 1, or rather, let me do it the other way around so we don't get confused. The first payment, payment 1, was in the account for 2 years, and payment 2 was only in the account for 1 year. Am I making sense? Okay. Because one of the accounts or one of the payments was made in 2016, and the second one was made in 2017. Mweketsi, let me know if that makes sense. Okay. All right. Excellent. All right. So what I'm going to do here now, guys, is I'm going to go back to basic algebra. And when you thought you ran away from algebra, here it comes back by you. All right. X and X are an HCF. They're a highest common factor. So we're going to take X out as a highest common factor. All right. So we're going to have X and then open brackets. And what we're going to have left is 1 plus 0,09 all squared plus 1,0,09. 1 plus, there was too many. Okay, is equal to 5,980. Now, if I want X on its own, how do I get rid of all of this? How do I get rid of all of this if I want X to be on its own, please? What would I have to do? Correct. That's it. We would have to divide by it. Good. So if we want to find the value of X, we're going to go X is equal to 5,980 divided by all of that. Divided by that. Punch that into a calculator. Tell me what answer we get, please. Correct. Correct. Okay. So it should be 2,625. I agree with Nico because that 4-5 is still going to change those 9-9s to 0-0s. Okay, so it must be 6-2. I mean 2-6-5. Okay, I'm going to ask on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being easy, 10 being difficult. How difficult was this question? Probably very. I would also say 10. I'm not gonna lie. I would also, yeah, I think I would figure it out because I've also been doing grade 10 maths for a while. But it's supposed to be a difficult question. It's supposed to be okay. So if you didn't 100% get it, perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. It was meant to be difficult. All right, let's look at this next one over here. Right, it says here, Mary wants to buy a fridge that costs 15,550. She has to pay a deposit. As soon as we hear people calculating for a deposit, what do we know we're working with? What kind of part of finance is this? What part of finance is this? P, what is P? What does P mean? What kind of calculations are we actually going to be doing? Correct, Nyaka, you're on point, 100%. It's a hire purchase calculation. It's a hire purchase agreement, right? Hire purchase. And we know that hire purchase is calculated over what kind of interest? What kind of interest do we get for hire purchase? Correct, simple interest, good. We would get simple interest calculations for hire. All right, guys could try question 4.1. All 3 of these questions, none of them are difficult. Okay, and when you're done, pop your favorite emoji in the chat. I want to use this emoji that I saw somebody else use today. It's just like, I have to.
There?
Yeah, I hope I have it. Did I have it? Because it was so cute and now I want to use it. Let me see. Oh, it's just, yeah, it's so cute. That's my emoji of it's so adorable. Love it.
My bed is better than your bed.
No, no, no.
It is.
All bears are equal. All bears, okay, no, fine. Yours is a little bit cuter.
Some are more equal than the others. Tastes like chocolate compared to vanilla. Vanilla is like so vanilla, like
You're
surprise.
calling my dress vanilla, teacher Nelly. How could you? Okay. Let me know when you're ready, peeps.
So,
Is your school Jersey chocolate? I think we just call that brown, Samuel. It's just called brown. Now I have to think about all the schools that I know where they wear brown in case. Oh no, we probably don't even live in the same area. I forget that you guys are all everywhere in South Africa. Completely sure. So, Samuel, if I Googled the chocolate school, would you guys come up? I'm just curious. I have to know now. All right, peeps, that's all the time we're going to take. All right, so let's look at this first one over here. Just in time, Hope. Just in time. All right. Okay, so it says here that they've given her rate of interest. Okay, sorry, let me just read the scenario from the beginning. All right, Mary wants to buy a fridge that costs 15,550. She has to pay a deposit of 15% of the cost and the balance by means of a hire purchase agreement. The rate of interest on the loan is 16.25% per annum, simple interest. The repayment period of the loan is 54 months. In addition to the hire purchase agreement, an annual insurance premium of 1.5% of the total cost of the fridge should be added. The annual insurance premium should be paid in monthly installments. All right, so there's going to be insurance involved here. So we need to be quite careful on how we're going to calculate the insurance. All right, okay, now it says, calculate the value of the loan that Mary will pay. Okay, so we know that she has to pay a deposit. So we know she's going to have to take 15,550 and pay 15% of that. So we can work out 15% of 15,500. How much is that, peeps? Anybody got an answer for me? Good, yes, correct. 2,332, 0. Good, but that's the loan amount, right? That's how much she's already paid. So what we need to do is then take that and minus that and subtract that from the actual amount that we have for the loan, right? So we're going to take 15,550 minus 2,332. That gives us the amount that we're actually looking for. How much did she take out as a loan? 13,217 Rand and 50 cents. That's how much the loan is worth. No, I won't even right. That's the answers you would get. You would get 1 mark for finding out the 15% and 1 mark for giving the actual loan. All right. Okay, now it says, calculate the total amount that must be repaid on the hire purchase agreement. Now, for that, we're going to use the simple interest formula. For those of you who don't remember, A is equal to P, open brackets 1 plus I times N. So we would get that our A is equal to, our P value is now this new amount that we have. 13,217, times 0. And then we'd open brackets 1 plus. Now, what is our interest rate is 16.25%, right? But now, what is our N value? How do we figure out the N value, guys? How do we figure out the N value? Correct. We're going to divide the months by 12. So we're going to take 54 months and divide it by 12. How much does that give us? Correct. It gives us 4.5. So 4.5 years. 4.5 years. So we're going to go 16.25% times 4.5 equal to, and what answer do we get there? Anybody got an answer for me? Thank you, Zoom. Okay, it's not Zoom user, it's definitely your fancy. Good, correct. So 22,882 Rand and 80 cents. Why am I writing? Offense, I don't know where you got the 81 and 93 from, but I'm getting 22,882 and 80 cents. That's a lot of money. From 15,000 to 22,000, I feel like, and she paid a deposit. She's paid like 9,000 Rand almost for extra for this particular fridge. This feels like a scam. Just a little bit like a scam. Okay. Okay, thank you, Tisha Knowles. It's okay. We already know. We already know. Hope it does seem like a scam. All right. Now it says, calculate the monthly repayment, which includes the monthly insurance premium. So we know that Mary owes 22,882.80. Right. Right. So if we want to know how much she's going to pay per month, we're going to take this and divide it by the number of months that she needs to pay. So we're going to take that and divide it by 54. And that will tell us that she still has to pay 423 Rand and 76 cents per month. But we still haven't included something in this amount. What have I forgotten to add into this 423,000 that we've got there? Correct. We've forgotten the insurance. So we need to add the insurance of 1.5%. So we need to figure out what 1.5% of 423.76 is and add it onto that. Okay. But I figured out the easier way to do that. The easier way to do that is to just multiply this. Instead of multiplying this by 1, we're going to multiply it by 101.5%, right? Because the 100% will be the actual 423 Rand and 76 cents. And that last bit left over, that 1.5%, is going to be how much the interest. All right. So we can do it one step at a time. That's what I've done. My word. I do that quite often. I don't know what's with me. All right. So you can either do it, you can do it either way. You can take 423.76 and multiply it by 1.5% and find that answer, or you can immediately go ahead. No, it won't make a difference. But remember, it's percentage. So be very careful on how you're calculating that. Spencer, check your answer again. All right. Okay, my answer over here is 430 Rand and 12 cents. Right. Now, if we calculate just 1.5% of that, I'm going to get 423.76 times 1.5 divided by 100, because 1.5% is still divided by 100. And I get 6 Rand and 36 cents. So I'm going to take my 6 Rand and 36 cents and add it to that 423 Rand and 76 cents. And the answer I should get again is 430 Rand and 12 cents. And I think that's why it was worth 3 months ago. Did it in that way. All right. So in this case, you're going to get a mark for calculating that the number of years was 4.5. You're going to get a mark for the correct substitution and a mark for the last bit. In this last one, you're going to get a mark for dividing, a mark for finding that 1.5%, and a mark for finding it. So this should give you a mark out of 8. Please let me know in the chat, how much did you get out of 8? Yeah, for 8, that's excellent. Good. Offensive 5. Are we okay with where we went wrong? I hope that we did the correct things there and we're aware of where we didn't quite get it. 7. Oh, I'm wondering, where did we lose that extra 1 mark? All right, peeps. Okay, let's look at this next one over here. These are kind of okay. I want us to do this question 4. But it says 7 years ago, Mrs. Gray decided to invest 18,000 Rand in a bank account that paid simple interest at 4.5 per annum. Calculate how much interest Mrs. Gray has earned over 7 years. All right, let's start with 4.1.1. In fact, maybe let's do 4.1.1 and 4.1.2. Pop your favorite emoji in the chat when you're done. Okay, I want us to be very careful with this question. 4.1.1 is asking for interest. How much interest this is worth? Okay, and that's completely different from calculating for the accumulated or the principal. I'm not sure how I need to zoom in or zoom out. I don't know if that will help. If this was in your math test, Samuel, I know where your teacher got it. They're probably getting you ready for the SPAs. It's not a big deal. That's why they would put it in there so that you can see how the national testing standard is. That's why they put it in. Okay, but Samuel, you can't cheat now because you've already seen this question. I hope it's not that deep. It's not that deep, I promise. It's actually pretty okay. Okay, I got you. Unfortunately, I don't think it's happening on my screen. I think it might be on your screen. I think you might need to zoom out on your screen, okay? Because mine, teacher Nels, just give me a head nod. Mine shows fine. Yes, right?
Yeah, yeah. I can see the
Maybe
whole
not my
question.
fault.
Taking the marks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right, we're going to get started in the next minute or so, guys. Okay, that's okay. Let's check these answers. All right. So we already know that they're asking us to calculate this over simple interest, which is easy enough, right? So the question says here, calculate how much interest Ms. Gray has earned over 7 years. So we know A is equal to 18,000, open brackets, 1 plus 4.5% multiplied by 7. Right? We should get an answer for that. Right, we would get 23,670 Rand. Right, but they don't want the accumulated amount, they want the interest. So how much interest did she get from this? We know that now she has 23,670. and she had 18,000, correct, Nico? So we need to take the one and minus it from the other. So how much interest has she made? 5,670. Okay. You're only going to get 1 mark for this calculation. It's you're plugging in. Okay. It's not that deep to the point where they're going to be like, oh, you did a nice job. No. You just punch the things in, and in grade 10, we should know how to solve. So you're going to get 1 mark for that calculation. And then you're going to get 1 mark for doing this as well. Both of those are IC. So well done, Pascal. Yeah. So we should at least get both of those. All right. Now it's this. Mrs. Gray wants to buy a television set that costs 27,660 now. Okay. If the average rate of inflation over the last 5 years was 6.7% per annum, calculate the cost of the television set 5 years ago. 5 years in the past. The past. You guys, English is not my mother tongue. All right. So this amount is what we have in the future. So what is this amount? Is this the A or the P value in our calculation for inflation? A or P? Correct. It is the A amount. They've given us A, and we're now looking for P. We're calculating inflation, guys. Inflation is calculated over what kind of interest? Pound, correct. It's calculated over compound interest. So we know we're going to take A is equal to P1 plus I. We've already got our A. So we just need to make our principal the subject of the formula. So we're going to go principal is equal to A divided by 1 plus I to N. Okay, what answer do we get for this question, peeps? I'm just going to continue the answer down. P is equal to 27,660 over, open brackets, 1 plus interest rate, which is 6.7%, which is a very high interest rate piece. Okay, to the power of, okay, give me an answer, peeps. Asha says she got 20,000. I want to see if everybody agrees with you. Anybody else got an answer for us? Riketi says 19,000. Riketi, that looks like 193,000. That doesn't seem quite right. Did we divide or did we just do the normal calculation? Okay, I also get 20,000. So Riketi, just check your calculations again, because you should have gotten 20,000 with comma 00 as the answer. It's actually 00382, but it shouldn't make a difference. Excellent. Okay, we're going to tackle this very last question because we are at the end of the lesson, and teacher Nels is then going to pop in the chat. Speaking of quiz results on the question. Right. Says, at what rate of simple interest should Mrs. Gray have invested her money 7 years ago if she intends on buying the television set now using only her original investment of 18,000? All right, so this is a bit of a trick question, but we should be able to read it. If we read it properly, we know exactly what they're asking us. Who can tell me, what are they asking of us in this last question? What they want us to calculate in 4.1.3? Read through the question and see exactly what it is they're asking for of you. Nyasha, you rock star. Yes, that's it. Good. They're asking for us to find I. Good. But if they want us to find the interest rate, that means they've given us everything else, correct? They should have given us our A value, our P value, our N value, because we need those things, because I is the thing that we're looking for, right? Our P value we already know is going to be 18,000. What is our A value going to be? Correct, Nico. It's going to be 27,660 because that's when we actually want to buy the TV. Okay. In 7 years' time. So we want to see how much it's going to be at that point. What is our N then going to be? What is our N value going to be?
7 years, correct, 7. And I is the thing that we're looking for, but we're going to use the simple interest formula to find this. So we're going to go A is equal to P, open brackets 1 plus interest rate times N. We're going to go 27,660 is equal to 18,000, open brackets, 1 plus our interest rate, which is what we want, times 7. Now we're going to have to rearrange all of these so that we can make I the something. Okay. Does anybody want to venture how we're going to answer this question? Anybody? Somebody? Okay, Nyasha says divide A by P, agreed. We're going to start by dividing, right? So we're going to get 27,660 divided by 18,000 is equal to 1 plus I times 7, right? Correct, that's it. And then we're going to take that 1 over to the other side. We're going to take the 1 over to the other side. So we're going to end up, oh, yeah. I'm going to move this. All right, so I'm going to have 27,660 over 18,000 minus 1. And all of this, I'm going to divide all of that by 7. Divide this whole thing by 7 as well. That is equal to our interest rate. Correct, then saying. Okay, Nico's got an answer. And I'm inclined to agree. The answer says 0,076666666 occurring. So it should give us 0,07, yeah, or 7,67, correct. So I'm going to take this and multiply it by 100. Now interest rate is indeed going to be 7,67%. Well done. All right.